Let's bring in Republican Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas, a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee. So, okay, that's the first time. Probably won't be the last. What's going on?
It's good to be in studio with y'all. You know, North Korea oftentimes fire these missiles in a bid to extract concessions. Unfortunately, Joe Biden, because he has been so weak over the last 2 years, has suggested to Kim Jong-un he might grant those kind of concessions. The answer to these provocations is, as it always has been, more defense spending, more money for missile defense. But liberal Democrats for decades have opposed missile defense. They'd rather leave us defenseless because they think it's too provocative to try to protect America from such rogue dictators. The
problem is that this happens to them just about every day now. And you get the alerts out of Seoul, South Korea, you get the alerts out of Tokyo, Japan. Doesn't seem to be an end to this. It only appears to be escalating.
Yeah, I think Kim Jong-un, like Vladimir Putin last year after the Afghanistan fiasco, has taken the measure of Joe Biden and thinks that if he keeps the pressure up, that eventually he can receive concessions from Joe Biden.
The other thing is that on yesterday we had Saudi Arabia letting us know in the U.S. that they're on high alert after intel that they have about an imminent Iranian attack. Here's the Wall Street Journal headline. And then they also go on to say Saudis said Tehran wants to distract from local protests, and the National Security Council said the U.S. is prepared to respond. So are we prepared to respond? And as part of that, you know, with the discussions with the Iranians, why not any of these snapback sanctions?
Well, I certainly hope so. You know, I write in my new book, Only the Strong, that progressives like Joe Biden and Barack Obama habitually side with our adversaries like Iran, and they undermine our allies and partners, countries like Israel and Saudi Arabia. That's maybe the simplest part of foreign policy, is to stand with your friends and against your enemies. But we've emboldened Iran for years under Barack Obama and Joe Biden by rewarding them with hundreds of billions of dollars of sanctions relief and negotiations and their nuclear program, which is accelerating, which has undermined confidence in American leadership and the American-led security order in places like Saudi Arabia and Israel.
The problem is Iran is better equipped than they've ever been.
Yeah,
I mean, they have drones that they're selling to Russia now.
Yeah, so why not the snapback sanctions on them for that?
Well, we should. Well, one, we should have never tried to re-enter the Iran nuclear deal. Even Joe Biden hasn't been able to achieve that, though, because the Iranians think they can keep getting a better deal from him because he's projected so much weakness. And as we see now in Ukraine with the Iranian drones that Iran has supplied Russia, Iran is capable of striking oil refineries in Saudi Arabia or the United Arab Emirates, which only is going to lead to higher prices here at home. Again, this all gets back, as I explained in my book, Only the Strong, to Democratic presidents like Joe Biden and Barack Obama undermining our allies overseas while they support and grant concessions to our adversaries.
Another topic here. Sorry, Dana. It's just breaking right now from the White House. Joe Biden is going to deliver a speech tonight from Capitol Hill sometime this evening. I don't have a direct time. That'll talk about democracy being under attack. The phrase is democracy is on the ballot come November 8th, next Tuesday. I know it's fresh, but your reaction.
Yeah, well, I've heard a lot about Democrats worrying on threats to democracy. I think Democrats are mostly worried about threats from democracy, because in 6 days, the American people are going to repudiate their ideological agenda. I think we're going to have a big victory, win back both the House and the Senate, because the American people are tired of worrying about how they're going to feed their kids and fill up their gas tank and heat their homes and pay their rent, and whether they can take their kids to a park or whether they have to worry about being the victims of crime. That's the direct result of the Democrats' ideological agenda, and the American people are going to repudiate it. And the Democrats are worried about those threats from democracy, not threats to democracy.
Who do you think his audience is tonight?
Well, since Congress is not in session, we're not on the campaign trail. I don't know. I mean, maybe they're going to have to rouse down all the homeless encampments around the Capitol for him to go up and give a speech.
They spent $1 gazillion on abortion ads, and you do see in polls this question about, are you concerned about threats to democracy, which I think is a question that could go to either, if you're a conservative or a liberal, you might be concerned about threats to democracy. But this seems like quite a Hail Mary pass.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that I'm worried about Democrats undermining the legitimacy of the Supreme Court by trying to pack it and signaling out by name Supreme Court justices that are then later targeted by left-wing hitmen for assassination. The reason why I think the Democrats are focused on things like abortion or threats to democracy is they don't have anything else to say. You're starting to see the early recriminations from Democrats saying, well, we should have had a more unified economic message. Well, what would their message have been? We spent trillions of dollars and caused this inflation, or unified crime message?
Well, let me ask you, so they keep saying that Republicans want to cut Social Security and Medicare. Do you?
No, of course not. In fact, the only party that's cut either one of those recently is the Democrats when they stole money from the Medicare Trust Fund to fund Obamacare. This just goes back again to one of their old hearty lies about Republicans on the campaign trail because they don't have anything else to say. They don't have a message problem. They have a reality problem.
Sir, thank you for your time. You mentioned the book. It's called Only the Strong. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
And hope sales are going well for you.
Well, I had a little preview. It doesn't
learned?
officially come out until a couple of weeks. Right?
No, it's out today.
Oh,
it's out today. As of yesterday.
So, yeah, I had a preview. You should see my copy. It has so many dog-eared pages all along. Yeah, it's very good.
Well, I'm glad y'all liked it, and thanks for having me on.
You bet, Senator. Thank you very much.